Good evening, Grammar Gumshoes, and welcome to the show. I'm your humble host, English instructor and grammar detective, Paul Duke. On this show, we answer your questions about English grammar and try to solve these English mysteries for you. Now, I'm streaming to you live from Vancouver, Canada, to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, and somewhere else. So wherever you are, whichever platform you're on, welcome to the show. Now, on the show, we usually answer questions sent in previously in form of video. So if you want a grammar question answered, you can send me a video. Less than 1 minute would be good. And you can send it to my email address right down here, hardboiledenglish6@gmail.com. Or you can ask a question on the show. And if I have the time, I will definitely answer it. If I don't have the time, such as last week when I had a guest, didn't have time to answer some questions, so I'm going to take care of those tonight and provide some answers. To get started, let's hear from everybody. I'd like to know, guys and gals, where you're watching. What country are you in, and where are you watching from? It's always great to hear from everybody. Also, guys, while we're waiting for everyone to tune in, I'd like to mention a couple of things. I am the host and creator of this YouTube channel, and you can find the YouTube channel, The Grammar Detective, at Grammar Detective or at Hardboiled English. On that channel, you can find the recordings of these live streams every week. I'll post them the following day. You can also find, my flagship series called English Weirdness. And on this series, we go into depth and explore English grammar using stories, animation, really detailed explanations of grammar, really detailed analysis. And I make this series with my students. So I'm very proud of the work they've done, and I want everyone to see it. You can also find a podcast I co-host with two friends from the UK. Both of them are also writing coaches. Each one works with a different type of student, and every month we do a podcast and we explore different problems and solutions that English writers have. So you can check that out. And along those lines, we are planning a special live webinar podcast next Friday. So it will be Friday morning, Pacific time, which is where I am on the west coast of Canada. But you'll be able to see the recording later too. But this is a live event, so you can interact and ask questions. And we're going to explore how to use English language naturally, especially in writing. How to make your writing seem more natural. Not just grammatically accurate, but more natural. And we're going to define what that means too. So that's coming up this Friday, so check that out. If you want to learn more about me and the services I offer, for example, private tutoring, private coaching, just go to my website, hardboiledenglish.com, and you can find out all the information. Now, recently, I took down my website, and I've been in the process of rebuilding it, so there are some elements missing, but you can find a lot of information there. You can also contact me because I do provide private tutoring and coaching to English learners, especially those who want to improve their writing. That's a bit of a specialty of mine. Okay, so let's say hi to a few folks here. Stacy's been waiting patiently, and Stacy is watching from South Korea in Seoul. We also have with us Puebla, Mexico, and this is Rigoberto Aguiar. Welcome to the show. I think you joined us a couple times. We have longtime viewer Chris Derboven from Belgium. Hi, Chris. I believe it's quite late in the evening for you, or quite late at night or early morning. We also have with us Hiroko Nakahara-san from Japan. Sensei, welcome. Great to have you with us. Nice to see your name pop up. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's going excellent in Japan for you. I'd love to catch up sometime. And we have Karen. Now, if you missed last week's show, Karen was my guest on the show. And she is a TOEFL instructor from the US, but now working in South Korea. So if you want tips to improve and succeed with TOEFL, check out last week's episode and hear from Karen. We also have Amos with us. Great. Hi, Amos from Indonesia. Fabulous. We also have Kumiko. Hi, Kumiko-san from Japan. Welcome to the show. Great to have you all with us. This is what I love most about this show is the amount of different countries people are watching from. It's really, really amazing. I hope wherever you guys are, you're experiencing nice weather. It's spring in Canada, so we're seeing our cherry blossoms. And also, I need to remind everyone, if you're interested in purchasing Grammar Detective products, coffee cups, shirts, hats, cell phone cases, you can find them by scanning this code, the barcode up here. It'll take you right to my products page. You can also, if you're feeling generous, you can also make a donation to the show, because this show does cost money to produce and bring to you free, but it costs me money. So if you're feeling generous, you can make a small donation here at Buy Me a Coffee. You just scan the QR code on your phone. It'll take you right to that platform. You can donate whatever you feel like. I'm not choosy about donations. So small donations, large donations, they're all good. Who else do we have with us? We have joining us now. Oh, amazing to join your live stream. I don't know who that is. By the way, guys, if you're watching in a Facebook group, I won't see your name. So it's fine to watch from the Facebook group, but we don't get to see your name. It doesn't pop up through Facebook groups. You can jump over to my Paul Duke profile or the Grammar Detective page, and if you type there, we'll see your name. Or the YouTube channel, of course, we can see your name. For example, Stacy is watching on YouTube, so when she types, we get to see her identity. But I'm just happy anyone's watching. Now, guys, I'm going to get to a question sent in to me by one of the viewers last week. I can't remember who asked it. We'll get to that in a few moments. However, I want to start with a quiz. Okay, we've done a couple of them this month already, but I'd like to do another one and get you warmed up. It's a little brain teaser to see how your grammar muscles are working in your mind. So we'll get to that in a second. Are you guys ready for that? Are your brains switched on? Are you ready to be grammar detectives, grammar gumshoes? Remember what a gumshoe is? A gumshoe is a slang word for detective. So you guys are grammar gumshoes. Okay, let's get ready for the quiz. I'm going to take my name off the screen. Okay. Are you all ready for a quiz? Oh, you're welcome, Karen. Thank you very much for being my guest on the show. It's quite an honor and a privilege. Okay, guys, if you're ready, let's have a grammar quiz. Now, this quiz is a missing word. You're going to have to choose the word. So type the word in the comment thread, okay? Look at the sentence, think about what's missing, and choose the right word and type it into your comments, okay? We'll see how you do. Paul, on the live stream right now. Paul, blank, on the live stream right now. What do you think? What's the right answer? Okay, Stacy says, is speaking. Okay, that's a good answer. Maybe. Paul speaks on the live stream. Okay, we've got a controversy. Two different choices. We have Paul speaking. Okay, we have three different choices already. Very interesting. Now we'll go through all 5 questions and then we'll review the correct answers, okay? Paul, on the live stream right now. What's the right answer? What's the missing word? What do you think? While you guys think, I'm going to consult with my assistant detective, the bunny detective. There's always an Easter bunny here in my detective office. What do you think? I only see 3 answers so far. Don't be shy, guys. What do you think is the right answer? Paul, on the live stream right now. I'll give you 1 more minute. Yeah, there's lots of different choices on the storefront for the Grammar Detective merchandises. There's coffee cups. We even have this new notebook that's available, right? Oh, can't see that. We have these new notebooks, right, with all the logos on it. There's cell phone case covers. There's t-shirts, there's hooded sweatshirts, there's all kinds of products. Okay, let's go to the next question. Here we go. Question number 2 of the quiz. Yesterday, I blank too much pizza. Yesterday, I blank too much pizza. What do you think? What's the right answer? Yesterday, I blank too much pizza. Yesterday, I blank too much pizza. Let's hear what answers you come up with. Okay, we have an answer here. Stacy says 8. Okay. Someone else says was eat. Okay. We have was eating. Okay. Anyone else want to try? We got several different answers coming in. Now remember, guys, this quiz is for fun. It's to stimulate your grammar thinking. Nobody wins anything. Nobody loses anything. It's a process of learning. This is a quiz, but it's more like an exercise. So don't be afraid to try. Oh, we have Guy joining us. Guy, I believe, is in Brazil. I can't remember. Guy, where are you watching from? Hello, good evening. Okay, guys, if you're ready, I'm going to move to question number 3. When I was a child, I fell out of a tree and my arm. When I was a child, I fell out of a tree and blank my arm. What's the missing word? Guy is in Costa Rica. Right. Okay, great. Thank you for joining us, Guy. Excellent. When I was a child, I fell out of a tree. Okay. Hiroko Nakahara says broke. Guy says broke. Stacy says broke. Any other choices? Chris Derboven says broke. Seems to be the popular choice. All right. We have Facebook user who says broke. Okay then. I think we have a consensus there. That doesn't mean it's correct. Just because everyone chooses it doesn't mean it's correct. They could all be wrong. We'll find out in a moment. Okay, Here comes question number 4, guys. A long time ago, there blank a princess who lived in a castle. A long time ago, there blank a princess who lived in a castle. Okay, what's the correct word? What's the missing word? Can you solve this mystery? Okay, we have a couple of answers. Was, okay. Guy says was. Hiroko Nakahara says what? Oops. Was. Facebook user says was. Chris Derboven says was. Okay, again, a popular choice. Maybe it's correct, maybe it's not. We'll find out in a moment. But it's a popular choice. Anyone else want to try? Anyone else have a different answer? Let's see. What would you choose, Detective Bunny? Detective Bunny doesn't talk much. Detective Bunny is shy to use her English. A little bit shy. We're going to have to pull the English out of her. Okay, I guess that's all the answers for question number 4. Let's go to our 5th and final question. Oopsie. Sorry, guys. I passed the question number 5. My mistake. 1 too many clicks. 1, 2, 3. 3. Okay, here's the 5th and final question. The flight at 5 p.m. last Tuesday. The flight blank at 5 p.m. last Tuesday. Okay, what's the missing word here? Solve the mystery, guys. Okay, Hiroko Nakahara says the flight left at 5 p.m. Anyone else? Stacy says left. Facebook user says leaves. Guy says left. Guy from Costa Rica. Anyone else? I see that we have 7 live viewers. So let's see. Christopher Boven says leaves. Anyone else have a different choice? Is there an alternative choice, do you think? You can go relax over there, Bunny Gumshoe. What do you think, guys? Very mysterious. Oh, thank you very much, Guy. I'm not really a private eye, I'm just a grammar detective on this show. Normally I don't walk around looking like this. It's just my way of having fun with grammar. Grammar is an important element of language learning, but I think a lot of students are very uncomfortable with it. So I like to make it a little bit fun with this show, including dressing up and acting a little bit silly. Okay, guys, I think it's time to review our choices. Are you ready for that? Okay, here we go. Just going to go back a step. And I will show you the correct answer as we go along. Then we'll review them and we can talk about how we make that choice. So the first one is Paul blank on the live stream right now. So the correct answer is speaking. Is speaking. So that grammar is called present continuous. Some textbooks say present progressive, same thing. Present continuous. And present continuous means something is happening right now, but it's temporary. It will end soon. It started a little bit in the past, but it will end soon. Right now is the key word. That time expression, right now, tells us you must be using present continuous because that's the grammar that means happening right now. Okay? And for a short time. That's a very important part of the meaning. Sometimes we, teachers and textbooks, don't actually explain that. But present continuous means it's happening right now, but it's temporary. It won't be forever. I'm certainly not going to stand here and speak forever. I'll get tired. Speaks is the other choice. Speaks is present simple. Present simple does not mean right now. Present simple means, in general, it's a fact, or it's a habit, or it's a routine. For example, every day she eats lunch. That doesn't mean right now. It just means every day she eats lunch. We can also use it for scientific facts, like in my city, it rains a lot. That's generally true, but it's not true right now. Right now it is sunny. Okay? So that's a big difference between present simple and present continuous. Okay? Now, speaking is partly correct, but we need that be verb. If you don't have a be verb and you have speaking, speaking is no longer a verb, it's a participle or a gerund. It's only a verb when it has the be verb, is speaking. We're going to talk more about that in a little while, actually. Okay, so that is the correct answer. Let's look at number 2. Yesterday I blank too much pizza. Now again, the key word here is the time adverb yesterday, right? Yesterday. That tells us we need something in the past, right? It also is a specific time in the past. It's not today, it's a day before today, it's yesterday. And when you're talking about a specific time in the past, you need to use simple past tense. Okay? So the correct answer is 8. Yesterday, I ate too much pizza. Now, what does that mean? It means yesterday, I started eating the pizza, I ate it, and I finished it. It's all in the past. As you can see right now, there's no pizza. Pizza's gone. I ate the pizza. Was eat isn't correct grammar because that's 2 base form verbs, was and eat. Don't usually put 2 base form verbs together. Was eating, we're going to talk about a little bit later, that's past continuous. Past continuous has a very specific use. We'll get to that in a few moments. Did eat isn't accurate grammar because the verb action eat is not in past tense. However, there is a way to use that. For example, if I told you, yesterday I ate pizza, but you didn't believe me, my next sentence might be, no, I did eat pizza. So I use 2 positives, did eat in the past, to try to convince you that I really did eat pizza. So you might sometimes see that double positive structure when we want to really emphasize that something truly happened, especially when our friend doesn't believe us. Okay? So the correct answer is simple past 8. Ding. Okay. Next one. When I was a child, I fell out of a tree and my arm. Now, again, we're dealing with the past. We have the time adverb. Now, this is an adverb clause, but it's telling us the time, when I was a child. When I was a child. So that, again, we're dealing with the past tense, right? We're talking about the past tense. When I was a child, something happened. It started happening, it happened, and it finished. It's all in the past. No relationship to the present. It's all in the past. So the correct answer has to be simple past, broke. Right? It's all in the past. Now we have a couple of options here, including present perfect. Have broken. But we don't use present perfect when we have past time information like when I was a child or yesterday, right? We use simple past if we're talking about a specific time in the past. Present perfect doesn't mean that. Present perfect is a combination of the past and the present, right? Present perfect. In grammar, perfect means past. So that grammar really means present plus past together. So if you said, I have broken my arm, we have to take away the time information. So it's possible to use that, but not with that specific time in the past. If you have a specific time in the past, you must use simple past. Okay? Take that away, and if you just said, I fell out of a tree and my arm, you could use present perfect. I have fallen out of a tree and have broken my arm. I'm not telling you when, I'm just telling you that has been my experience, right? It happened in the past, but it has a connection to the present. What's that connection? Well, I have broken. What do I have? I have experiences right now in the present. Where do we keep experiences? Right here in our memory. In the present, we have experiences in our memory. So to express an experience, we use present perfect. I have broken my arm. That's present perfect. The focus is on the present, not the past. This sentence says, when I was a child. So we are definitely focusing on the past. Okay? Okay, and I see a question here, Guy, and I'll take care of that in a minute. Question number 4, the mystery number 4 was, a long time ago, there blank, a princess who lived in a castle. Once again, we have past time information. A long time ago. And remember, a long time ago isn't like a specific time like 5 p.m., but it is a specific time in the long time of history, right? It's pointing to a time in the past, definitely not related to the present. So if you have a long time ago, we need simple past. Long time ago, there was a princess who lived in a castle. That's the correct answer. Was is the past tense of be. We also have the verb be here, but it's in present tense. We also have the verb have, but it's in present tense. But we're talking about a long time ago, in the past. We do have a simple past word, did, but did has 2 uses. One, you can do an action, but after using the word do, the next word needs to be the name of an action, like do, what's an activity? Do homework, do some cooking. But the next word here is princess. Doesn't fit. And it's past tense, did. We use do also as an auxiliary, right? Like, I do not eat pizza. Do not eat. Or she did eat the pizza. If you're using it in the past tense like this, again, there's no activity after it. We have instead the word princess. So the correct answer is was. Finally, the last mystery sentence is, the flight blank at 5 p.m. last Tuesday. Last Tuesday. That's last week, in the past. So once again, we need simple past. Okay? And out of these choices, there's only one simple past. The flight left at 5 p.m. last Tuesday. Okay? The other choices we have are leaving, which is not a verb because there's no be verb with it. So we can't use that. Will be leaving, that's a form of future in English. But we're talking about last Tuesday, so that doesn't work. And then we have the simple present choice, leaves. But leaves can't be used for the past. Right? We have last Tuesday, so we need a past tense. So the correct answer is left. So those are the correct answers. Let's just show the list for review. And let's see Guy's question here. Is it related to these sentences? I have a question. I foresaw the events of the next few weeks. Can I say saw? I'm not sure what you're asking, Guy. Do you mean foresaw or saw? Because foresaw is past tense. It's a verb meaning I saw something in the past, but I was looking forward. For. Can you give me the full sentence example using saw? Like, last week I saw my future. You could say that. As long as you first tell us when this happened in the past, because you are using the past tense verb saw. So you have to say, last week I saw my future, right? Or last week I saw myself growing up to be a famous doctor, right? But truly, the better word choice is foresaw, because that is the word we use to mean in the past I saw something looking ahead, right? Good question. Okay, guys. Now, if you've seen these quizzes over the last few weeks, you know I use them to prepare you for one of the grammar questions I'm about to talk about. So let's get to that, okay? I'm going to get ready, get my action costume ready, because I can't do my work in a raincoat, especially when it's not actually raining. So I'm going to take these off the board, and I want to draw your attention to a couple of examples here. Now, last week, someone asked me this question, and we ran out of time to answer it. But here's the question. Oh, this is always strange, right? Where am I pointing? Here. What? Here. Yes, there we go. Okay, what is the difference between I live? Oh, that's not it at all. Sorry, let's get rid of that. What's the difference between I lived and I was living? Okay, now maybe you can answer this already because we've just talked about this. So let's go to the board, and I've got a couple of examples prepared. So I lived, okay? Now you know that that is past tense, simple past, right? And we know that this one is past continuous or past progressive. So let's get those labeled up. We have our subject, and then we have verb, past, simple. And here we have the verb, which is past continuous. Okay? What's the difference? They're both in the past, right? Well, in order to understand the difference, let's compare a couple of things. First of all, let's say I lived in Toronto. That's where I lived. And that is true. I live in Vancouver now, but I grew up in the Toronto area. And let's say I was living in Toronto, right? So what is the difference? Well, as we learned a few moments ago, if you use simple past, when do you use that? You use that when you are speaking about a specific time in the past. So we need some more information here. We need a specific time in the past. I lived in Toronto when I was a child. And that's a time adverb. So we can put time information at the beginning or at the end. I kind of like it at the beginning. So let's put it here. And when it's at the beginning, if you're writing, always put a comma. Okay? So this is the time adverbial. It's actually an adverb clause because it has its own subject and verb. But that whole thing is your time adverb. It's telling us when the action happened, right? If I just say, guys, I lived in Toronto. What's your question? Oh, really? When? If you just use simple past verbs, people always want to know when, because we use that for specific times. So you better mention the specific time. Or the other person you're talking to already understands the specific time. Like maybe my friend and I are already talking about our childhoods. So he knows that when I was a child, I lived in Toronto. Either way, if you're using simple past, you need time information. And if you use time information, you need simple past. Okay, what about this? Now, to understand past continuous, let's make sure we understand present continuous, okay? So if I draw a timeline, can we see this? Let's say this is the present, this is the past, this is the future, okay? And we're saying, let's say, let's say this. I am standing, right? Right now. I am standing right now. What does that look like on a timeline? Clearly, it's happening in the present. When did it start? Well, at the beginning of the show, right? Which is already 30 minutes ago. So sometime in the past, I started standing. I'm standing right now, clearly. You can see that. What about the future? How about after 1 minute? Yeah. How about 10 minutes? Yeah, I'll be standing. How about 6 p.m.? The show will be over and my standing will be over because I'm an old man and I get tired. So this will end. My standing will end. When I use present continuous, present progressive, whatever you want to call it, when I use that, I'm talking about an action that's happening right now, but it started in the past, could be an hour ago, it could be 5 hours ago. And it will end in the future, right? Which means this is temporary. This is not all the time. This is right now for a short time. In this case, 1 hour, right? I am standing here on the live stream. This is temporary. Very important part of the idea. Happening right now and temporary. What about the past? Same thing, except we are referring to a specific moment in the past. Okay? So let's make a different timeline and compare. In the past, we need a specific time in the past, otherwise we can't use past tense. But that specific moment in the past, like yesterday, becomes like the present. It becomes a line, right? And now the same thing can be moved to the past, right? Something started, let's say yesterday, something started before yesterday, was happening yesterday, and continued a little bit into the future of yesterday, maybe the evening, right? But it was temporary. It was a temporary thing that was happening in the past. Why did it end? Well, a second action happened. For example, someone phoned. I was standing, but someone phoned me, so I had to sit down and talk. Okay? Or there was another action in the past. For example, while I was standing, you were sitting for the short period of time. Okay? So, when do we use these? We use this for one action that started and stopped in the past, and we have time information. Here, we use it to talk about a temporary action that was happening, and then a second action happened. It could be a second action that interrupted this one, or was happening at the same time. Okay, so we would use sentences like this. I was living in Toronto while you were living in Costa Rica, right? So was living, you were living at the same time, right? I was living in Toronto while you were living in Costa Rica in our childhoods. Two actions at the same time. That's one case where you can use past continuous. The other case is I was living in Toronto when my brother asked me to join him in Vancouver. Okay, so the verb here is asked. One action, simple past. Okay, so that doesn't look like this, two actions at the same time. That looks like one action was happening, and then he asked me to join him in Vancouver, so I left Toronto and moved. So I was doing something temporary. I didn't know it was temporary, but it turned out to be temporary. It was some years. And then it was interrupted by another action by someone. So it turned my action into a temporary action. Okay? That's when you would use past continuous. For the same reason you use present continuous, happening right now but temporary, but everything moved into the past like that. All right? Simple past is used when you're talking about a specific moment in the past when one action happened. And that would look like this. Present, past, future. When I was a child, I lived. I started living and I finished living. That's the idea that you're communicating. There's no second action. You're talking about something that started and ended. And it may not have been a temporary action, right? You're not expressing that. You're just saying, this happened in the past. Oh, we have someone else joining us. We have Martha D. I love using timelines. Timelines are wonderful. By the way, guys, if you like timelines to help you with your grammar understanding, go to my YouTube channel, The Grammar Detective, and check out my series, English Weirdness. Because in that series, not only do we use timelines, we use animation and animated timelines, right? I can do a lot more with animation than I can do on a whiteboard because the whiteboard gets messy. But in English Weirdness, we have little stories for context, and then we have animated explanations with colors and coordinated parts of sentences so you can see how everything works. I highly recommend English Weirdness. Now, I made it, so I'm proud of it. I made it with my student actors, and all the production was made with students. I'm very proud of this because of their work, and I'm very proud of it because it does a good job of showing grammar in context and what can go wrong with it, and a detailed explanation of grammar, how the grammar works to create meaning. Okay? Grammar isn't just a bunch of rules to follow. Grammar is the architecture or structure of the language through which we express meaning. Different grammar, different meaning. And that's why you need these different grammars. That's why I lived is different than I was living. They express different ideas. Why do we need those? Why do we need two? Because the human brain is capable of imagining two different complexities of this because we're complex humans and we live in a complex world. So anyway, if you want to understand English grammar better, check out my series, English Weirdness, on my YouTube channel, The Grammar Detective. Okay? And if you can't find it, just type in at The Grammar Detective or at Grammar Detective. So if you like timelines, Martha, check out English Weirdness. There's animated timelines. Much better than my whiteboard mess. But it sounds like, Martha, that you're a teacher. So if you're a teacher, welcome to the show. I'm really happy to and pleased to have you with us. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that series is fun because it starts with a little drama, a little story of grammar not going well, miscommunication, the problems that can arise when people are using the grammar inaccurately and conveying different meanings that they don't intend. And then they consult the grammar detective, and I explain using the animations and stuff how to understand that more clearly. Okay, I love those floating letters. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it when the lighting is done properly. There's just little clear magnets on it. It's a magnetized whiteboard, but that's why they can move. It's just paper cutouts. And again, guys, this question was asked last week, but I ran out of time to answer it because I had a guest on. So yeah, we got to it today. Oh, Martha is in Greece. Wow, fabulous. Is it for all? Yeah, Guy. If you want to learn more about grammar, check out English Weirdness. Um, it's my main product, really. It's my main show. I made 10 episodes. Cost a lot of money and time to make them, so I stopped making them for a while. I'd love to make more in the future. And I made those with my students together. Each episode features different actors, and those actors are language students. They're not real actors. In fact, some of them were kind of the shy students. But by trying to appear in my little videos, they came out of their shell a little bit. So please check that out on the YouTube channel, The Grammar Detective. I'll put my information here. Look for that logo. Whoops, where is it? Yeah, that logo. That logo you'll see on the YouTube channel. I wish I could put the link here. Maybe I can, actually. I put it in the chat box. I'm not sure if you can copy and paste it, but certainly try. That's the link to the YouTube channel. And again, on the YouTube channel, we'll post the recording of this live stream tomorrow. So if you've missed part of it, you can always go back and review. Stacy, did you ask the question about lived and was living? If so, I hope we answered it. I hope it's clearer now. Joining us is Anish at On the Spot Language in Toronto. It's always a pleasure to answer questions from your learners, Anish, but from anyone. In the past, guys, up until January, before I took a short break for some medical reasons, some of Anish's students and some of you viewers were sending me video clips, 1-minute videos, where you asked me a question. I love that because I can feature your question with you asking it on the show. So if anyone wants to do that, prepare a 1-minute video clip, just using your phone if you want, and send it to my email address, hardboiledenglish6@gmail.com. And I'll feature it on the show in our weekly mystery. Thanks for joining, Anish. Great to have you. Just checking if I missed anyone's comments. We have Martha joining us from Greece. Thank you so much for joining us, Martha. It's lovely to meet you. Are you originally from Greece, or did you go there for work? And if so, where are you originating from? Where did you originate from? Sorry. Floating letters. Yeah, great. I have never lived in Toronto. So there's a great use of present perfect, right? Which is a way of connecting a past action, lived, to the present, have, right? Past. Present perfect means perfect doesn't mean beautiful. It means completed. It means past. So that grammar really means present past connected. So this grammar connects a past action with the present. So we're talking about the present when we use present perfect. So Guy is talking about his current view of the past, his current experience. He's saying it's a negative. I've never lived in Toronto. And some people will ask, well, how is that related to the present? Well, have lived would mean an experience. And you do have experiences in the present. You carry them in your memory. That's why we have the word have. Right now, I have experiences in my mind. For example, I have lived in Toronto. I grew up there. I have lived there. I'm not telling you when. That would be a simple past time adverb I would need. I'm saying I have lived there. And I carry that experience in the present in my memory. Right? I live in Vancouver now on the west coast of the country. But I carry that experience of have lived. I lived in Toronto when I was a child, but I carry that experience in the present. That's why I have the verb have. Okay? So that's an excellent use of have never lived in Toronto, because Guy is in Costa Rica, and right now in the present, he has no memory of living in Toronto. He didn't do it. It never happened for him, so he doesn't have a memory in the present. Have never lived, right? Great stuff. Okay. Martha says, I was featured in one of the live streams on Etiquette, and I've heard him saying nice things about you. This is how it came across. That's lovely. Thank you, Martha. Yes, Eric and I met online. I was watching his live streams every week, and reached out to him and said, I really like what you're doing. And I asked him to be a guest on my show. He was a guest on this show maybe last year around Christmas, I think. And consequently, he invited me to be a guest on his show. So there is an episode floating around on his channel with me as his guest. And there's an episode floating around on my channel with him as a guest. I think it was my Christmas special in December 2021. Every year I do a 2-hour Christmas special featuring 3 or 4 guests, including puppets. There's an English teacher friend of mine who manufactures puppets and uses puppets to teach English in Thailand. So he often joins the show and brings his new puppet characters. Good fun. Yay, more questions coming soon. Excellent. Thank you, Anish. Look forward to it. Yes, thank you, Stacy. It was you. Great. I'm glad we answered it today. I'm glad you were here today. And Martha says, originally from Greece, but would prefer to be in Canada. That's funny because during the winter, a lot of Canadians would prefer to be in Greece, myself included. I've never been to Greece, but I would love to visit there. However, the summer has arrived in Vancouver, and summer in Vancouver is pretty magnificent. Beautiful hot, beautiful sunshine, beautiful blue skies, ocean, mountains. We're very fortunate to have a beautiful environment around here. There's Stacy. Guy, thank you very much, Guy. That's lovely. Now, we only have 5 minutes left, guys, and I do have to be a little bit strict at the moment because, as some of you know, I recently had knee surgery, and I am standing now, but I started an hour ago, and if I stand too much longer into the future, I'll fall down. I'll be too tired and exhausted, so I will have to end it shortly. English is a mystery. Yeah, sure. But sometimes when we students ask weird questions, the answer is, it is what it is. I will never answer that question. It is what it is. I think sometimes teachers are uncomfortable with grammar themselves and don't understand the reasons why a grammar pattern or structure is the way it is. So they'll answer, it is what it is, and just want you to accept it. I can kind of understand that for beginners, when you're teaching beginners, because you can't explain with detail the kind of complicated explanations I do. You can't really do that with beginners. They won't understand it. So sometimes teachers who teach beginner learners have to be like that. However, in my experience, working with more advanced students, intermediate and above, I think they're not satisfied with that. It sounds like you're one of them, Guy. So I always try to find out, even if I don't know, I will try to find out why something is, so you can understand why. What is the difference between these two grammars, right? Because I think students deserve to know. I think teachers have an obligation to know, or at least try to understand. You can always do research. So it is what it is not a great answer for me. I'm not the kind of teacher who gives that answer, which is why I have this show, right? This show is a chance for you to ask me questions. I don't care what they are. We'll try to figure it out together. I'm not saying I know everything, but I do have a system for inducing the answer out. That's why I call it investigation. I'm not teaching you rules. I'm taking examples and pulling out the structure that's hiding underneath them, right? That's why I call this show investigations. We're investigating what's happening in a sentence and finding the grammar pattern under there that communicates that meaning. For me, that's a better way to understand grammar. However, you need some higher level of English to understand the explanation. For example, English weirdness is not ideal. My series, English Weirdness, is not ideal for beginners because the explanations can be a little bit complicated and maybe they can't follow it, right? So that's something I learned as a teacher. Maybe Martha, you can comment on this, but you learn the level of English student you're best suited for teaching. For me, I learned very quickly that I was better suited for teaching advanced learners because I had a knack for explaining things like this or investigating complicated grammar structures or written language. But my explanations wouldn't work for beginners. Thank you, Guy. Thank you very much. And thank you, I will. Okay, Chris says, always a great show with the best explanations of grammar mysteries. Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you, Chris, for joining always. I think it's probably 4 a.m. in Belgium. So thank you for staying up with us. Yeah, yeah. But on my show, Guy, I'll always try to figure out the answer for you. That's the whole purpose of the show. It's an investigation, right? I know a lot about grammar. I don't know everything, but I can investigate it with you together. We can solve the mystery, right? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. One thing I often say to my students is that language is built as people find it convenient to use it. Yeah, and it's always changing. As culture changes and introduces new things like technology, we need new words and we need new structures to put those words in. And we communicate about different meanings. When I was a child, nobody would communicate a sentence like this. Hey, have you checked out Instagram yet? Nobody would say that sentence. Nobody would communicate that meaning. Nobody would say, hey, let's connect on social media, because it didn't exist. Culture and society changed, and we needed new language to express new meanings because new meanings became part of our life. So the language is always changing, right? And yeah, rules, especially in English, English is irregular. There are rules that we can hold on to sometimes, but sometimes the rules fall apart, or there's exceptions, or there's contradictions, and students know this. So I think it's better to look at grammar as a series of structures and patterns than a bunch of rules, because it doesn't follow its own rules a lot of time. Yeah, I think what happens with grammar is we all need to agree that this structure means this and this structure means that, so that we can communicate and the other person will listen and understand. So we do need these structures or these patterns or rules, if you will, to hold on to so that we agree upon them. It's just like playing sports, right? I'm not a football fan, soccer. I'm a fan of North American football, right? So if I go to another country and try to play soccer, let's say I go to Brazil and I try to play soccer using North American football rules, I probably won't win the game. They probably won't let me play the game because I'm going to be trying to tackle people or throw the ball. Those rules don't work in soccer, just like grammar rules from Japanese language don't work in English, right? So each language has its own structural patterns and rules, its own architecture, and we have to learn to put our meaning through those. Sorry, this one. Yes, beautiful words from Martha. Thank you very much for contributing. Thank you for joining us, Martha. It's been great to have you here. It's nice to have other educators with us. We have a couple already. Thank you for joining us. I hope you'll come back. It's 4 a.m. It was worth my... Wow, that's really lovely. Thank you for staying up. That's late. Again, Martha, if you missed the show, don't worry. Usually Saturday morning, I post the recording on the YouTube channel. So if you find the YouTube channel, you can always see the recordings. Late joiner, we have Fatima from Pakistan. Welcome, Fatima. Sorry, but we're just about to end the show. Yes, yeah. As a child, I always wanted explanations. I was never a child that could accept it is what it is, or I would always ask my parents why, and they would say, because I said so. That never satisfied me. It used to wind me up a little bit, make me angry. Some children really need to understand why. I was one of them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's probably time for me to sit down because I have been standing for a long time, and now it's time to stop it. Again, if you don't know about the YouTube channel, find me at The Grammar Detective. Look for that logo. Again, if you like the show and you want to help support it, you can always make a donation to Buy Me a Coffee. Just scan the QR code into your phone. It'll take you right to the site. You can donate $1, 50 cents, $5, whatever. This show does cost money for me to produce and bring to you every week, so any donations would be greatly appreciated. And you can also find that information on my main website, hardboiledenglish.com. You can find all my stuff there. And if you're interested in hiring me as a tutor or coach, you can contact me through the website. Okay? And you can also find my merchandise store, the YouTube channel, everything is there, one place. Don't forget to check out English Weirdness on the YouTube channel. Very fun, very informative, I hope. Thank you, Facebook user. Thank you very much. Yeah, Guy, it sounds like you're familiar with that expression. Or maybe you have to use it with your children sometimes. It has its place. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure, as it always is, to share my passion for grammar with you around the world. We've had Greece, we've had Brazil, we've had Belgium, Japan, Costa Rica has been here with us. It's been wonderful. Pakistan just joined us. It's great to meet you. It's great to have you with us. And I hope you'll join me next week. Same time, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Until then, me and the Gumshoe Bunny bid you good night, good morning, good day, wherever it is for you. And we'll see you next time. Okay? Until then, keep learning. Stay healthy. And as always, guys, stay cool. Thanks for watching tonight's show. If you have an English grammar question, an English mystery, contact me on social media and send me a video of you asking the question. I'll investigate it on a future show. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button to get all the updates about videos and events. If you're feeling generous, you can also donate to the production costs of the show at Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. Finally, until the next time I see you on Hard Boiled English Live, I want you to keep learning English. Stay healthy and stay cool.